everybody. That's it. I need pumping up, Nate.
Whoa, I got you. I got you.
Woo! Yeah, they're invisible.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Knights of Eveningstar. I'm Dungeon Master Mark Hulmes. I'm joined by these lovely people. We've got Anna Prosser. We've got Mica Burton. We've got Nate Sharp. And we've got ShadyPenguinn, a.k.a. Jonathan Indovino. Thank you very much, everybody.
After doing that, Zoom gave me a notification that's like, you should try setting up professional audio settings.
Do that you're a professional drummer.
I know.
So good. Welcome to our penultimate episode.
Dun, 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 dun.
Penultimate episode. I know it's the last one before the finale, which will be at PAX Unplugged. If you are
Unplugged, you say?
Unplugged. Literally this Friday. No, not this Friday, but it's the convention starts. But the game is on.
You're doing great.
Saturday.
I knew it was Saturday, Mica.
At what time and where? Do we
Yes.
Great question.
PAX Unplugged schedule.
Let me Google that for you.
I should have written it down, but I forgot.
We should
I
all
should
written it down.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait,
Well,
we're
I
playing
write things when
PAX?
we have Anna.
Right?
You can Google right now, live. No, whilst Anna is Googling this, yes. Go on.
I searched for it and it. No, hold on. It's there.
It's there. It's there. But yes, it will
Saturday between noon and 10 p.m. in the parking lot.
No, I'll take it, Nate. That's fine.
In the parking lot of Denny's.
There will be a game somewhere at some point. But yeah, this is our penultimate episode, and then we'll have a finale, and then the adventures of our heroes of Eveningstar will be done. Single tier. Nice.
Very mature.
This is
Nice.
well. It's
Anna
on the
is losing her
schedule.
mind. But it's somewhere.
I was
on
still
the
waiting
schedule.
for Anna to find it. Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
It's
Right.
It'll like if I search for it on the schedule, it'll pull it up as an option immediately, and then I click on it, and then it doesn't bring me to it. So if I scroll
Full
through
of
Saturday,
surprises.
It's
No
never
matter
been
what
easier.
is happening, it's happening. So you'll see us there.
In Denny's.
As the meme says, it's
Aha!
happening.
2:00 Saturday,
Ah!
December 3rd,
There we go.
in the main
Saturday.
theater and
In the
on
main theater.
twitch.tv/PAX.
Twitch.tv/PAX. That's the
Brought
main
to
We
you
will
one.
also
by
probably
Denny's.
be not brought to you by Denny's. We'll be tweeting it and Instagramming it. Hopefully, probably this week. Probably right after we do this.
Because we're actually all going to be together in person. So the amount of
Yes.
camaraderie in social media that will be
Wow.
happening, who knows?
It's gonna be a lot. I don't think we haven't been in person like with Mark ever. All
No.
of us.
Nope.
Never
This
all
is
of
the
us
first
together.
Not
time.
all of us.
First
No.
time and last
Wow.
time.
It will be me and Mika's
Goodbye
first time
forever.
hanging out in person. Like,
We have
like
plans
I've
for
spent
Mark at the
time
end.
with everybody except Mica individually. Like I have
It's true.
hung out physically in
Really?
person with everybody except Mica.
Yeah.
But all separately.
Yeah. It's because every time we've ever been in an event, we've missed each other, and then COVID happened.
Mm.
Can't
Yeah,
wait for
basically.
Mark's last PAX.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jeez.
Jesus.
It's ominous, but it could be true. I'm not gonna,
We don't know.
Yes,
we
yeah,
don't
it
know.
could be.
Life is full of mysteries. Magic and mysteries are part of our histories.
Wow.
As is the secret of
Wow.
becoming very
Wow.
That's what I always say.
Anyway, I have been up for a very long time as I have just come back from a very long trip. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. Listen, let's jump right on into it with a little recap, and then we'll just jump on in and have more silliness and nonsense and a big old babble today.
Nate, do you want to
What?
battle?
She did it. She said right away. She didn't even hesitate.
She
And
said
there was-
the thing! She said the thing!
It's happening!
It took the whole season. We can go home now.
I love how little you can hear those symbols.
I know.
It's-
He's just like
it's
wailing
so
on him, and we hear like
Ah!
pa pa pa.
Can you
Yeah.
believe we're getting paid to do this?
This is what it's about,
I
guys.
took a B complex, and apparently it just makes you lose your goddamn mind.
Oh my god.
Oh man, that's what I need right now. Right, so recap.
Yes.
With Cormyr in the grip of civil war, our heroes of Eveningstar were in the process of helping Queen Raedra plan a decisive battle against the traitor Davian Cormyr. However, before the battle could take place, Cormyr and his forces had launched a carefully planned attack from inside Suzail, the capital city, along with mercenary aid of the Red Wizards of Thay. The party rushed to aid Queen Raedra, and after disabling a magical spell around the castle, keeping her forces out, they secured victory for their allies. Now, several days have passed since, and whilst some of their forces have been disrupted or lost due to Davian's subterfuge, the armies of Cormyr march towards the plains of Daur, where their final battle will take place. So the last session we had to basically rush because we had a bunch of people that needed to go and do things, so we had to basically kind of cut it short. You guys had basically won, but we kind of had to cut it short. And to wrap things up, because we've only got this in the finale episode to go, the sequence of events that took place were, once you disabled the spell, you rushed to Queen Raedra's aid. You found her still battling numerous other forces with a scant few guards and protectors around her. She was injured, but you managed to rush to her aid, help her defend them, fight off the attackers, and with a few days of recovery, she is recovered. You did find out that whilst you had sent Merylonus and some of your fighters to go and help the other noble houses, some of the noble houses, unfortunately, had been attacked, killed, or otherwise scared off of participating in this battle, which has lost some forces. And there was damage done to various ships in the docks based on the choices that you guys had made. Again, you had managed to kind of avoid the worst case scenario by distributing your forces, but it did sort of create this the momentary losses or like temporary losses that are going to have a wider effect in the battle that makes it a little bit more of an even-sided thing. Not quite sure where it's going to land in terms of fate yet, putting you guys at even numbers. Now we kind of time shift over a few days. The armies have marched out of Suzail and towards this large plain called the Plain of Daur, Daur. Alongside the Kingswood, it's sort of in the background, you can see the vast stretch of this ancient, massive woodland with rivers and valleys and sort of all sorts of different like little pieces of terrain and nearby that create a very sort of varied battlefield that this is all going to take place on. A large army camp has been erected towards the south where the battle is going to take place. And this is where the muster has happened, where the various armies of Queen Raedra are assembling, including your own forces, along with a number of reinforcements and new units that have been acquired en route. And that is where we're going to pick up with you guys kind of, all of you in various tents and command tents as the army is mustering on the day of the battle that is going to basically take place, sort of like several hours before the battle is scheduled to begin. Giving you guys some time, so you guys have some time to catch up with NPCs, make plans, or do anything you want to do before the battle commences. And I can answer any questions, but at this point, I throw it to you.
We should take a long rest, right?
Oh, you already have those. Yeah,
Oh,
It's
okay.
been several days. Yeah, you guys can take a long rest. Yeah, it's been several days. You can take a long rest. Make sure you're topped up on hit points and all that good stuff.
Azara, I feel like we should do some shopping for various potions and things. What do you think?
I'm gonna put unfortunately with that, in terms of like shopping, there is no shopping.
No shopping to be found. What about if we scavenge one of the dead noble houses?
Ooh.
You certainly can. If you're looking for things like healing potions, you have Hulda as your sort of army medic who's going to be coming with you, who can provide you with a limited supply of healing potions. But in terms of things like shopping, like the stores have all been raided by the various armies and commanders and generals. There isn't really much available apart from your own supplies that you brought with you, unfortunately.
Okay.
Just because, it's going to be a case of you guys are pretty tough and high level. And yeah, the city is in a state of preparing for this battle and this war, and also following the attacks. It's not in a state necessary for adventurers to be able to stock up on supplies, unfortunately. But Hulda can provide you with probably a few healing potions if you're desperate for healing potions.
Well, we have, hold on, we have some on us. We have 1 superior healing potion each, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah,
They're
I
right
have one
down.
in my inventory.
Yeah,
There you go.
so that should
I also have a
helpful.
potion of frost giant strength.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
probably helpful.
So, I mean, a superior healing potion is way better than anything you would be able to acquire in the city anyway. Like, that is a significantly powerful healing potion. If anything, you would have been able to get maybe a couple of regular healing potions from Hulda.
So can you remind us which factions that we have successfully brought in and are now ready to ride into battle with us?
Yeah, so I mean the wider armies that make up Rager's kind of side of this conflict, there's vast amounts of them, right? But you guys are going to be controlling your, Eveningstar's forces and sort of given a piece of the battlefield to control and fight on. So in terms of you guys, you have available to you. Let me check this. Where have we got it here? So you have, you had left your archers, I believe, and your infantry back in Eveningstar to protect Eveningstar whilst you are away. You have with you your Tressim Knights. You also have, you acquired along the way, bringing with you, where did I put them? They are down here, I think. Yes. So you have a magical artillery unit, so sort of a collection of freelance, mercenary mages that have been acquired from various parts of Faerun. You have a druid shape-shifting unit, so this is like a collection of Agnes's allies in the Circle of Wildfire and other druidic circles, maybe from the elven communities of Mithranor and places nearby, as well as a light cavalry unit as well.
Awesome.
So this will be sort of fast riding horseback, mixture of sort of light lances, spears, shields, and things like that, all combined. In terms of NPCs, you have with you Aaron as a banner bearer. You have Donk Wobble as your army smith. You have Erez and Baragon, Clyve's companions, as cavalry commanders, and Hulda as your army medic. And then in the sort of like camp area, you have Donk Wobble as your army smith and Susan Baker as like kind of army chef, I believe. And those were the NPCs that you brought with you. I think you had brought your infantry. You had left your infantry and archers behind. I know you definitely left your archers behind. I'm trying to remember if you left your infantry behind.
I noted that we did.
Yes. Okay, great.
So...
Thank you. I thought you had. So those are the forces, and then your Tressim Knights. And so you sort of have these 4 units available to you. You will be, when you go into battle, you will either be commanding one of your own units, or you will be able to sort of like, join another sort of infantry unit, but you won't have as much influence or control over them because they're not Eveningstar's troops. They'll be part of another nobles or part of the Queen's own forces and things like that, the Purple Dragon Knights. But yeah, and you will have a part of this battle to play in, right? Like there is going to be a much wider battle going on that you guys probably won't have much influence over because it'll be fighting sort of, a fair distance away from you, but you're going to be basically put in charge of a location on the battlefield to command and win over. Gotcha.
I don't think Tarkhal has any sort of prep. He's very like ready for this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of wants to talk with Willow Song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Willow Song and Dusk are also with you as well. I think Dusk probably would have stayed back in the city, but Willow Song would have absolutely come with you. Yeah, this is definitely going to be the time to, like, again, if you want to talk to any NPCs and stuff. So absolutely, this is going to be the right time to do so. So yeah, if you want to find her, she's probably not far from, she's probably staying nearby. So
I don't think he has a full-blown conversation in mind. So I don't think he's not going to seek her out with that intent, but I think he wants to like spend this time with her.
Okay. Yeah.
Just like
the last couple of days, maybe, and then
if she's
like
perusing the city or drinks. But I feel or I assume that her and I have been on a similar wavelength of kind of keeping a vocal distance. Like we're near each other, but we don't speak much.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think that like maybe around sort of the city of Suzail before you kind of set out over the few days that pass in between, like Willow Song visits a lot of the gardens and sort of like the sort of more natural areas in the city, like any parks and gardens that they have, and yeah, maybe like goes out to see what this human see the city in a new form. Like she's used to the city, she's been here before, but it's always been under the guise of infiltration and spy craft and sort of maybe manipulating other nobles, and she's never really been here just to enjoy it. So yeah, I think that that's definitely something that Tarkhal and Wilson can do in their time while they are here, for sure. I forgot to mention, obviously, you also Alyssa will also be here commanding sort of your. She's another commander that you can use in the battle. So nice. Cool.
Fiance Alyssa.
Right. I think Azara kind of on the opposite side of this. Like, she's so scared about like not like something going wrong, but she doesn't also want to confront that. So I think she's completely avoiding Alyssa. Like if she sees her like the other side of the camp, like trying to not make it obvious because she doesn't want Alyssa to think that she's mad at her or anything. But she's like, I don't have the mental capacity to be ready for a war and also talk to my fiance right now. She's like, I can't handle an emotional conversation because I'm
staying
so
busy,
focused.
basically.
Yeah, she's staying busy because she's like, if I let my emotions overwhelm me, I could compromise the war, and the war is what's important. So
yeah, and I think that Alyssa would know that and sort of respect that with Azara, right? Because she's kind of in a similar position herself. Like she is a commanding officer. She has people's lives in her hands, and I think that she wants to focus on this as well. I think the one exception might be like the night before the battle. Like she might come and find you and be like, hey, like, there's not much more we can do. I want to spend time with you. There's nothing else we can really focus on. Like, we just need to do this fight tomorrow. And that's kind of, it's that kind of moment of like, this might be the last time. Like, let's make the most of it, if nothing else, kind of thing.
I think Azara would actually she would acknowledge it, but she wouldn't say anything. She would spend the time quietly. Yeah, just completely silent because she doesn't trust herself.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Sweet. Anything for Agnis or Clyve in the sort of time before, and this can be a few days before, like whilst where we sort of jumped ahead, like in the city. This can be preparations. Like I said, in terms of things like buying potions or buying magic items is going to be limited, but certainly you can, like, if you wanted to, go around talking to your troops or your forces or your family, talking to NPCs, any of that stuff, definitely.
I think that Agnis would just try to check on Eveningstar and like
send messages and stuff.
Yeah, just make sure everything's good on the home front.
Yeah, I think that you have all the war wizards here in Suzail and Cormyr, and the Queen, after your valiant rescue, is certainly more than happy to make sure that they can provide you whatever services you need, and a few sending spells dispatched, back to Eveningstar. And you find that it is quiet. Nothing has happened so far. The troops are on edge, kind of making sure that they keep the borders locked down and things like that. But yeah, so far it's been very quiet, and they've not heard of anything happening. So everything seems to be okay for now.
And then maybe Agnis will send a little letter to her pen pal, the Summer King, and just be like, hey, what's up? Thinking of you. Just about to go to war. Hope you're good too.
Nice.
Yeah, heart,
okay.
bye.
Heart. Very good. Okay. Yeah, and you probably get a response from the Summer King, because would this be like a sending spell, or is this like is this done via Azara? Like you're like, hey Azara, can you do a sending for me or something like that? Or is
I feel like Azara's like the mailbox through which we send our little notes, probably.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
okay.
and the note is like, I know I'm not supposed to ask for help or anything. But just so you know, just going to war.
I'm going to war. War. Yeah.
Okay, bye.
About that.
Yeah.
Can sending spells convey emojis?
I like to imagine that it's kind of like it's like a mental image that you can attach. It's like an attachment, right? Like so, but it would be like an attachment of a giant emoji, because you can't do it in the text, but it would be like attaching a GIF or an image. So it'd just be like, you know, one of those
like going to
you can
war
send minion
puking
memes, Nate.
emoji. Yes,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. You can be like a mom on Facebook and attach a minion meme.
Great.
Yeah. Very important for Nate to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, I have a question.
Yes, that's what I'm here for.
So I know I'm not the highest of cleric levels, right?
Yeah.
And I know augury is a ritual, second level.
Yeah.
But I also know divine intervention happens to be a cleric spell. Not one that Azara particularly 100% knows.
Has. Yeah.
Or has.
Yeah.
But let's say last night she sneaks away from Alyssa. Alyssa's staying in her tent. And quietly flies to a high secluded point. Away from the enemy, but closer to the sky, and tries to contact her goddess for either, and she doesn't ask for help because she knows that the goddess cannot influence whether we win or lose, but she asks at least, does she believe that we can be successful? Are we prepared enough to survive this war?
I think that as you, and I think that, you know, you fly to, I think the closest thing, sort of like the highest point that you can fly to, is you find a particularly tall hill near these plains that you find. And at the top of these hills, maybe once an old stone watchtower. It's mainly ruined now, but with your wings, you kind of fly to the top. This kind of broken, open to the air, almost no walls left, really just a kind of skeletal ruin. But this is probably the highest point around that you can find. And there, the moonlight in the sort of the cloud, the night is cloudy with these kind of long, streaky, silvery clouds kind of obscuring the stars. But every so often, the very bright crescent moon kind of casts through. And it's a still night. There's not much wind or breeze or air. It's like a still summer's night. But as you begin to pray and you begin to think and asking for this, asking for Adriphania to kind of provide you this insight into, you know, if she thinks that you're ready, if she thinks that you are prepared or that you can win this war, subtle breezes begin to sort of pass and tickle your wings and blow across your skin, and you feel this sense of uncertainty, as if the goddess herself could not say. Perhaps like a coin is almost pulled from your coin pouch, and as it lands on the floor, it lands on its edge and it spins as if it could tip on either side, and then it just stops almost perfectly on the edge, balanced, ready to knock one way or the other.
It's like possibly the worst answer to a prayer I've ever heard.
No, really.
Pretty rough.
Azara kind of in this like desperate hour of crisis, she kind of looks up at the sky and she's like, is there anything I can sacrifice to guarantee my troops' safety? I no longer care only about myself, and I worry that I might lose everything I care for. And so I beg you, if I can give myself to guarantee that we will win, even if I'm not here to see that victory, please let me take that chance.
Can you roll just a d20 plus your wisdom, which is your clerical ability modifier? Just you know, I just want to see sort of this, how strong this connection is, and this roll is to give us a little bit of a random chance to see, you know, what the dice tell us.
That is a dirty 20, sir.
Dirty 20. Okay. I think that because this is, you're still a sort of training acolyte. Like Adriphania can't speak to you directly because, like you said, you don't have the divine intervention spell. You don't have a powerful spell that lets you communicate with it. So this is, it's kind of very. You get thoughts and feeling, or not even thoughts. You get feelings, right? You know that she's listening. You can feel that there is this connection between you and Adriphania, and the winds almost swirl around you. Almost like a mother's arms, kind of like trying to reach around you and offer you some comfort. You're not sure if that prayer, that desire to sacrifice to guarantee is even possible. But you know that she's watching you, and you can feel that the winds are at least in your favor, that she wants you to succeed, that she wants you to power through. But right now, in this moment, you're not sure what that means, but there might be something. Maybe there may come a time in the battle if things are desperate that you could call upon this again. Like, now that she's with you, she's listening to you, and if there is something in that moment where you think this is what I'm going to give up, or this is what I'm going to sacrifice, or I'm prepared to give this up, that may be heard in a moment of crisis.
Also, Azara knowing she's still tactical. Because she gave that plea out in the open for any deity to hear. She's gonna look around to see if there are any ravens nearby.
Ooh.
Oh.
Just because the Raven Queen was interested in her, and she denied that connection. But she said, "I don't give a fuck about myself anymore. I'll do whatever." So she's like, "Okay, like good mama. Cool, you got my back. However, evil mama, are you out there? Did you hear me?"
Raven Queen's not evil.
Oh, however, dark mama.
Yeah, dark mama is a better description. I think that when you look around, there's maybe not any like there's not an immediate raven sort of like in your immediate area. But when you are flying back to the camp, you notice that the area where this battle is going to be taking place, you spot maybe a raven in a tree nearby. You fly a little bit further, there's a raven down by the river. Ravens are scattered sort of all over this battlefield. And you make an insight check for me. Just roll an insight check for me.
Insight, that is a D20, and where's my insight? That's a good one. 24.
24. You surmise that, being the goddess of death, these ravens, she knows that a battle is about to take place here, and given that there are many ravens present, there is an expectation that there will be losses of life. She is definitely aware of this place and aware of everything going on. And another one that may be very much listening should something desperate be required.
Okay, good to know. Azara's definitely also going to keep that to herself. Like, she's not going to tell anybody that she's noticed it.
Yeah. I have made a note about your prayer to Adriphania because it may come into play later on.
Prayer to Adriphania and a hint to the Raven Queen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love how Adriphania's like, LOL IDK, and so Azara's like, okay, Raven Queen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't give me a coin on its edge and not expect me to cover my ass, you know?
I
like,
mean,
open new text, close old text.
No text.
The question of like, are we gonna win? And it's like,
I don't know. And I was like, look, I was willing to like burn off my wings for you, girl, whatever you wanted. She's like, look, I'm just here for you. And I'm like, cool, wasn't enough. So Raven Queen, what's up?
It's not a no. It's not a no. I don't accept your sacrifice. It's
true,
like,
it's not a no. It's a let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Yeah. And again, also baby cleric.
Baby cleric. I'm a baby cleric.
Baby cleric.
Cleric that's willing to do whatever.
Nice. Clyve, anything else for anybody, really, isn't it? For pretty much anyone. Like, this isn't, again, like, this can be the night before, this can be a few days before. This is probably going to be, like, in terms of, like, talking to some of these NPCs and stuff, as once we reach a certain point, and especially with the final episode, the next final episode, it's pretty much going to be go time. This is, like when we play like
this coming Saturday.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you. This is the point in Mass Effect, right, where like the game is like beyond this point is
there's
make
no
sure
turning
you say,
back.
there's no turning back. If you've got
Or
any side
in
missions,
Final Fantasy, there are going to be many simultaneous cutscenes that play. Make sure that you have enough time for them.
Yeah.
This is that point, right? So just want to make sure that everyone feels that they've got the opportunities that they want to do.
Nate, what's Clyve's strength?
Good.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I have the potion of frost giant strength, and I don't think it's really going to do any of us any good other than you, but it raises your strength to 23 for 1 hour.
That is already my score.
Okay, so it won't do you any good.
No.
So then I'll ask Azara as our chief strategist who might benefit from the strength score, and I suggest Alyssa.
Oh, would that, Mark, do anything? Because I have her stats here.
Yeah, so again, just because things are going to be a little bit different for this like mass battle, I'm not going to be necessarily like controlling Alyssa directly. But yeah, I mean, if you give Alyssa this potion for this battle, that will make a huge difference, like 100%. Like she is a melee fighter. Her strength is already about 18. So boosting it to 23 would be a big benefit for Alyssa. And the way that I would rule that is it will ensure Alyssa's safety more. It like protects Alyssa more than it protects, like, it's not necessarily going to help the outcome of the battle, but it will help Alyssa survive.
I give it to Azara and say, tell her it's an engagement present.
Zara will like blush and like shuffle back to her tent where Alyssa is to give it to her.
Just like puts it there and doesn't say anything and just leaves.
Just leaves. She just like literally puts it on the table and then walks right back out.
Strength potion, drink this.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, sure. If you want to mark that off, then Anna. And yeah, we can give that to Alyssa. So if there's nothing else from you guys, I have a couple of questions that you guys need to decide before we kind of rock into the battle tomorrow. The way that this is going to work is you guys can fight on your own. You can just be like, I am just going to be running around doing my thing, and that's totally fine. You can do that. You can also attach yourself to a unit. Like I said, you've got these kind of different units that you have available to you. Those units will have different positions in the battlefield, right? So during the battle, you'll need to choose if a unit or yourself are going to be part of the vanguard, which is the main sort of like front and center units. They're the sort of main melee fighters. They're going to be taking the brunt of the attacks, but they're also going to be the main hitting force that's kind of holding the line, right? The kind of the bastion of your forces. A unit or yourselves can also be an outflanker. So part of the outflank, which is a unit that fights on the sides or at vulnerable locations. They generally are very good at doing lots of damage, but they need to remain mobile. If they get stuck in place, they can very quickly take a lot of damage or be rendered useless. Think kind of like cavalry charging in. This might be like specialist units. These are people that need to stay mobile and move around the battlefield, but they're also very good at solving problems. Like if you need to be somewhere quickly, flanking units are very good at doing that, right? And then the last position is the rear, which is, basically fights or supports from a distance, very, very vulnerable to enemy attacks if they're engaged directly. So they need to be protected because they don't really have a good way of defending themselves. So things like mages, archers, that kind of stuff. So you need to pick like where you're going to be in the battlefield. And if you are attached to a unit, that unit might be able to give you extra cool things that you can do, or will have an effect on other people and stuff like that as well. So you need to have a think about which units you want to be attached to, but also which NPCs you want to be attached to certain things. Like, is Alyssa, where is Alyssa going to go? Where is Aaron going to go? He is your banner bearer. And the banner will be a significant thing for morale in your army.
Does a banner bearer usually go like out front, or are they like?
Yeah, the banner is what is often the rally point. So you can have them behind, but they're less effective because the banner is like a symbol of courage and morale. It boosts the effectiveness of your troops. Like if they see the banner, they're like, right, rally to the banner, and they charge in and they feel more invigorated to fight. You can keep it safe by keeping it in the rear, but it won't have as big a boost on your fighting force. The other side is that if your banner bearer is obviously killed or lost or whatever, that can also have a significant effect on your morale, because that can be a devastating loss.
I also perceive that Aaron would want to be at the front because he takes the banner bearer job.
Absolutely,
So seriously,
and he's been training as well. Like he's been training as a soldier. Like I would say that it is more traditional in Cormyr that a banner bearer is in like an infantry unit and goes out sort of with the sort of soldiers and people clad in armor and things like that. A banner bearer could also be part of cavalry as well. Could be part of cavalry, because you currently don't have like a main sort of like big block of shield infantry or like soldiers like ground troops. Eveningstar is a lot more specialized than that. So yeah, like things like a cavalry unit or something like that would make sense.
He could also be on the Tressum Knights.
Yeah,
like he can be with them, so he can fly above and stay protected, but also like swoop and be like, stars.
Yeah, like so to kind of break it down, like the Tressum Knights, your light cavalry, and the shapeshifters are all kind of very similar roles. Like they're very good at hit and run. So the Tressum Knights, if they they can swoop down, they can fly over, they can maneuver around the enemy, but they'll be vulnerable to being attacked by archers, mages, things like that. Like the Tressum themselves, if they are taken out, then obviously that's a bad thing. The knights themselves are very defended. They're all wearing heavy armor and stuff like that, but they are vulnerable to being shot at and stuff like that. Light cavalry, again, very good. If they like maneuver, they can get around places very, very quickly, but they don't have like heavy armor. They can be, if they're engaged directly, that can be quite dangerous. I would say the shape-shifting unit is probably the most tanky, actually. I'd say that if you wanted to have like a good vanguard unit, then like the druids who can become bears and crocodiles and these armored kind of creatures, they're probably going to be your main sort of land force that can like take the hit, I'd say, actually, rather than being a sort of like fast moving unit. I'd say actually the nice thing with the shape-shifting unit, the way I'm going to rule it is actually you can choose what they do. So you can be like, everybody become bears, and then they become like this hardcore tanky line, or you can be like, nope, we need you to move, everybody become panthers, and then they rush off and they can get somewhere really quickly, right? But you have to choose which form they are, and then that's going to defend what they're if they're going to take more damage, or if they're going to be more tanky and slow and stuff like that.
Do we have limitations to how many forms they can take?
Probably like I'd say you can change them like 2 or 3 times at max. Like kind of that's wild shapes, because they're not all like druids. They're not like player class druids. They're NPC druids. So I'd say they can probably do it 2 or 3 times. Okay.
I assume Clyve wants to be at the front.
What was that?
I said I assume Clyve wants to be at the front.
Crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my mind, Tarkhal and Willowsong are in opposite flanking units. So if there's like a left and a right, I feel like they run the sides.
Yeah, so you can absolutely do that. Willowsong has the option of she can stay in humanoid form, where she is more of a mage, and she can provide like spell casting and things like that. Or she can become a dragon. You can be like, dragon, go.
Is she ready to do that?
She if needs be, it's kind of a case of like, if she reveals herself to be a dragon, she might come under attack from friendly forces who might mistake her as an enemy. But you could also be like, nope, we need a fucking dragon. We're losing. Go dragon now. Dragon time.
Okay, that can be
Aaron,
that she can dragon form.
Yeah, she doesn't have to be. She can do it like mid battle. Yes, and then
Aaron
as
could
a dragon,
ride on her as a dragon with the banner.
Yes.
She can take one. I'd say like one medium creature like into battle, because she's not like, she doesn't have like a saddle and stuff like that, so that it would be kind of difficult for somebody to hold on. But she can probably take one medium creature with her.
Do you know?
But then it would identify her as part of our team, because the banner would be on her.
Yes,
do you know how I'm a scarred D&D player though? Because all I heard when Anna said that was, let's put 2 important people that I like in one spot. Let's put them right together.
Dragon.
But I agree that it.
Yeah.
Dragon.
Nate loves those symbols.
She will I'm sure she will need to go dragon at some point. But I think obviously I think starting on this mage is smart.
Dragon.
I think Azara is going to go with the mages in the back. And I think Melodonus is with me too, right?
That's true, actually. You do bring Meridona.
Yeah, we
Meridonus
bring
with you as well. So Meridonus and Willowsong, Willowsong to begin with, and with Azara all go mage unit, mage artillery unit.
Well, we'd be in the back, and Shady wanted her on another flanking side.
Yeah, but I feel like if she's gonna be a mage, since that's
You
her
want her
like
in you want her in the
natural
back
class. I think she could stay with you, yeah. And then
Okay.
she
Yeah,
has to go
that's-
Dragio. She's probably more up
Yeah.
front, if anything.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
scoops up Aaron at some point, and then
Yeah.
All
I'll opposite flank Tarkhal then.
yeah, I would like that.
All the siblings on the
Yeah.
flanks. I love that.
Okay, so
I feel like
would
that's a
you-
morale thing too. Like both nobles are just like.
Yeah.
Holding down the forts.
So you basically the 4 units you have the magical artillery unit, you have the druid shapeshifting unit, you have a light cavalry unit, and your Tressim knights. So Elissa is going to be with the Tressim knights. She's trained as a cavalry, heavy cavalry, so she'll be with the Tressim knights. You're kind of like, and the Tressim knights are your kind of main, like, iconic force, right? Like that's what's unique to Eveningstar, and like they're your sort of main, force. So if Agnis and Tarkhal both wanted to be sort of flanking units, that would be the light cavalry unit and the Tressim unit. So who wants to go where? So if
Tressim.
all right, so Agnis is with the Tressim. So it's Elissa and Agnis with the Tressim. I think that kind of works because, like, I can see Tarkhal being like an accomplished horse rider, right? Like he grew up in the woods and stuff. He's like a farm boy. So like, rogue on horseback.
He's got real Link Twilight Princess Chapter 1 vibes, like early. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of get that's the kind of, I do have like a weird Link image in my head for Tarkhal, like like just running alongside like with a bow or whatever.
That was really good.
Yeah, it was.
That was a very good
Play a lot of Zelda in my day, big deal.
Yeah. And then a dark evil master sword that just disintegrates people.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. We don't talk about it.
Yeah, I love it.
I have been hanging out with the Tressim since like episode 3 too. So
yes,
it's a good.
you have, absolutely. So then Clyve, does Clyve want to be on his own? Like Clyve can be like, I don't need a unit. I'm just gonna go fight on my own. Or Clyve can go in with all the druid shapeshifters and be like,
I am the unit.
These guys.
He doesn't need a unit. Have the friendos been assigned?
No, if you wanted to basically be like Clyve, Ares, and Baragorn are gonna run around like Legolas, Aragorn, and Gimli and just kick ass, the 3 of them, you can absolutely do that.
Can I also ask Clyve to keep a special eye on Aaron at the front?
Well, if he's running around on his own unit, it depends on where Aaron goes. So I've got Clyve, Ares, and Baragorn as kind of like a separate thing. I think that the only person left to place is Aaron. And Aaron will need to go with a unit. He can't be on his own. So the choices currently are have him with the Tressim unit, have him with the light cavalry, or have him with the druids, which would be kind of weird. He'd be the only non-druid.
Yeah, but we wanted him at the front, and the druids are at the front, aren't they?
If you want them to be, yeah, they can be your vanguard unit, yeah.
So
is Clyve
just
and
floating
his
this
two
to
companions
Clyve.
unit?
I would say that like Clyve, Ares, and Baragorn wouldn't count. Aaron can't join just those 3 because like then it would as a banner bearer he needs to be with a unit really basically.
Soft pitch that Clyve and the Lion Friends actually join the druid unit at the front and hang out with Aaron because the banner is important.
I will leave that to Mr. Nate wants to battle.
Mechanically speaking, if it's a unit rather than us doing our thing, is that going to prevent Clyve from doing his thing?
It won't necessarily prevent Clyve doing his thing. Like if they're going to be running into the combat and stuff like that. It will kind of maybe restrict places that you can go and things like that because you'll be with the unit rather than being able to make your own choices. So like the units have certain places that they have to be based on their position. If you, Ares and Baragorn, are just running around on your own, you'll have a lot more freedom of like, nope, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I don't want to be where those guys are. You get a lot more choice and freedom. The other option is like, the banner doesn't have to be in like the up center front unit. You could have the banner in a cavalry unit. It just will have less of, it will be less empowering for that vanguard unit. So like you can have him in the Tressim unit, and that will be great morale for the Tressim, but it just won't be able to affect the other units.
Can Tarkhal maybe convince the army pre-war that having the banner in the center of like our mage fold is a good thing? Because even though it's in the back, It's like
yeah, I mean, you can.
You're turned around when you're fighting. It's not like you're always facing forward. You're doing a spin move, and it's like you'll keep your eye like the banner's in sight.
It's more that the mages and like your sort of rear guard forces are separated, right? That's the whole reason. Like they'll be positioned behind, and the whole. I kind of mentioned this to Anna. Like with the banner, its influence is on those around it. So if you have the banner at the back, Aaron will be pretty safe as long as that unit doesn't get engaged, but the banner's morale boosting effect won't be as present for the other parts of the battle.
Now, what is the impact if the banner is with, say, Agnes's flanking unit? It's in the front. It's towards the left.
It would benefit that unit and maybe the other flanking units, but the things like the mages and the vanguard wouldn't get it. It would only benefit the other sort of fast-moving units.
Okay,
so it's kind of like, yep.
How far can Agnes's bird teleport someone?
Not far enough to like interact with between the units, right?
Okay.
You got to imagine because it's quite abstract.
Yeah.
The Kandor can only teleport like 15 feet.
Yes.
And because this battle is going to be taking place over hundreds of feet, like we're going to be abstracting a lot of like movement speeds and stuff like that. The Tressym Knights can move a lot faster than say the teleports. I would say things like a Dimension Door spell would be different because that's got like 500-foot range. So like, Azara, if Azara, for example, had Dimension Door, she could go, I'm going to leave the mage unit and I'm going to go join that unit instead. And I'm going to Dimension Door to them, right? That could be her turn, basically.
Or Azara could Dimension Door Aaron somewhere else if he's in danger. My big thing right now is thinking, can Aaron be with anyone that he can just like get out of dodge?
You're really worried about Aaron. It's great.
I'm a little concerned. Yeah.
Which is fair.
What DM hurt you? Just Shady. What DM has hurt you? I want to know.
I'm not saying anything, but he might have drums behind him. Okay. I will not name names.
I don't know what you're talking about. I can't hear you at all.
Shady's like, I will not name names.
I love it.
I think Aaron should go with the Tressym Knights personally. That's iconic, first of all. Iconic visual of the Eveningstar banner on a Tressym. Also, that gives two different units the morale rather than just one, because Mark said it would be both of the flanking units, both your cavalry unit and Agnes's Tressym unit.
I like it.
I'm down.
That would put him with Agnis and Alyssa as well. He would have Agnis and Alyssa with him. All right. Aaron Baker with that unit as well.
And then Nate's unit is just vibing.
Nate doesn't even have a unit. It's Clyve, Erez, and Baragorn just basically being like, let's go fuck shit up. Just being like, let's go, game on.
Friendship is the unit.
Yeah, and then it means that your druid shapeshifters are just going to be this kind of on their own, but they're going to form. You can choose where they go and what they do a little bit. They'll be pretty flexible because they can shapeshift. So all around good stuff. Okay, cool. Right, unless there is anything else from you guys. Yeah,
sorry,
absolutely.
I'm gonna
get
nitpicky.
It's good. Good to ask.
Our NPCs that are in battle with us, like Hulda and Donk Wobble.
They won't be in the battle. They will be at the war camp. Yeah. Okay. So now that war camp is only, that's not far from the main battlefield. It's like maybe a mile away from the battlefield. Okay. And they could still be at risk. Like if Davian's forces decide to be like, we're going to split off and we're going to try and go for their vulnerable camp.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, thanks.
You might need to, you'll have an opportunity to maybe try and stop that. But again, you might have to make choices.
But it's close enough that if something goes down, we can hear that something's going down over there.
You will know, yes. Okay. I'm not going to be like, you return to the camp and actually you didn't spot that there was a secret stealth mission to come and kill everyone. I'm not. You will know, but you will have to. It will probably be a case of like you could send a unit to go and help them, but that means sending them away from the battlefield, which you are currently losing. And it will be that kind of. It might be. I'm not even going to say it could. It will be. It might be that kind of scenario. I don't know. I have a table of stuff that is a random sort of events that are going to take place. So keep you on your toes.
That was my last question.
All right. Any other questions? Any other things that you want to check or things you wish to say or do before I accelerate the time to the battle beginning?
Play the song of double time, Mark. Do it.
All right. So the time comes, dawn. The armies begin to muster. Leaving the war camps, they march, regimented, disciplined order, as the Knights of Cormyr have always been trained to do so. For the most part, you see humans, elves, dwarves, many of the other races of Faerun lined up in soldier's garb, all wearing the tabard of Cormyr. Some wear their own noble house's colors. Some wear the purple dragon, symbol of the purple dragon knights, the sort of chief army of paladins and knightly orders that make up this special forces here in Cormyr. Your own troops wear the Knights of Eveningstar. Banners, homemade, some of them passed down, some of them commissioned most recently. Some look well made, some look cheaply made. But Eveningstar stands out amongst the rows of hundreds to tens of thousands of shiny, plated, armored troops. Eveningstar stands unique, as the town has become known for. You have rows and rows of strangely woodland garbed individuals, many elves, in fact, many wood elves, all dressed in leathers and wooden bark-like armor with leaves and beads and trinkets woven into their hair and attached to their ears, all bearing strange tattoos. And amongst them are another sect of druids, all emblazoned in orange and red and amber and colors of summer and of flame, wielding fiery magical powers, blades made of fire itself, or bows made of flame. They form the bulk of your forces that the rest sort of rally around. They are few in number compared to the rows and ranks of spearmen and swordsmen and shield bearers that the other noble houses have brought. Your main course is much, much smaller, perhaps only 100 or 200 or so. On their flanks, we see a fairly standard-looking unit of light cavalry, dressed in sort of gleaming armors and plates, but at their head is Tarkhal with his woodland gear and long flowing cloak. He kind of moves his chestnut mare around. So actually, or would you be on your Tressim, actually, Tarkhal? Or would you take one of the horses?
Also, careful, chestnut mares are notorious for being bitches.
I think I would.
I was like, I'm gonna think of a horse in my mind.
Those are the crazy ones. Those are the ones that will beat you.
I think that I would go on a horse and I would have given my Tressim to Aaron. Take in the.
That's nice.
Now that's nice. All right. So on this kind of horse, we see Tarkhal leading this side. On the other flank, ready to take up into the air, kind of resting as much as they can, the now iconic Tressim Knights of Eveningstar. These large feather-winged cats, clad in leather barding, what armor they can be, equipped with without weighing down their flying abilities. But these powerful predators, each bearing a fully armored knight with lance, shield, full plate, side sword, all ready to engage the enemy in hit-and-run tactics. And with them, your own blade captain, your commander, Elissa, along with Lady Agnis Crownsilver and your banner bearer, Aaron, wearing a soldier's garb, chainmail, a banner of a tabard, of Eveningstar, and in his hand a long spear with a giant banner kind of attached to the spear itself, holding it aloft for all to see as it flutters in the gentle breeze that seems to flow around you. At the rear rose dozens of very odd-looking mages of wild assortment. Those some look to be in pristine robes, almost like they've come out of a mage's college or school for their first time really being outside, but equipped with large thick wizard tomes and scrolls and crystalline orbs. And other much more veteran weary, traveled mages who look like they have been to the ends of Faerun and back again. Those who are equipped with strange-looking equipment and bizarre, items. One appears to have a pair of winged boots. Another sits on a flying carpet. Some have crystalline golems that accompany them. These wide range of freelance mercenary mages, along with Azara Meridonis and Willow Song joining them as their unit commanders. And then finally, off to the side, surprising everybody, three lion people just stood separate from everybody else, drawing many strange raised eyebrows from the other commanders and captains and sergeants of the other forces, as they just, I'm guessing kind of Erez and Baragorn are like doing stretches and sort of preparing themselves, like rolling their necks and getting their muscles ready.
I can imagine Baragorn like jogging in place.
Yeah, he's like, doing little hops and things, like stretching his knuckles, his
Rocky
big paws. Yeah. Like, kind of, doing some long lunges, that kind of thing. Just kind of limbering up, really. But yeah, completely separate to everybody else, just all on their own. Does Clyve have a particular routine, or is Clyve doing anything as you get ready?
Aside from, stretching and warming up, getting the blood pumping, at one point he just kind of reaches into his satchel and he takes out a little leather string, it looks like a necklace with a large tooth kind of hooked around it, and he just kind of holds it, and he like holds it up against his face, just like kind of meditates on it for a couple seconds, then puts it away, and then gets back to warming up.
Do we recognize that tooth? Didn't you pick that up as a trophy somewhere?
Not that one, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. What about Azara and Agnis?
I think Agnis is like in noble mode, like just going around checking on everyone, making sure everyone's okay, and keeping an eye on Aaron, but not doing anything in particular, preparing.
Okay.
Actually, before the battle starts, she would summon Candor.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. What about Azara?
Azara will go to Willow Song, and look her in the eyes and say, I know we've had our differences in the past, but if the battle requires you to reveal your true form, I will gladly put my life on the line to assure your safety.
Thank you, Magister. I apologize for the way that I have spoken to you in the past. I have not always been kind, but know that it was always partial jealousy. You are a powerful, confident, beloved woman in your lands, and that is something I've always sought for myself as well. I'm glad that we can fight together as allies this time.
Zara like smiles a little bit. She's like, it's ironic because I was jealous of you. I mean, all I've done is come from the line of dragons, and here you are, a dragon yourself. And she kind of like chuckles a little bit.
Grass is always greener in someone else's garden. And she'll just nod, and she maybe offers her hand like a handshake.
Azara will take it and shake it.
Yeah. Two halves, two scions of dragons who once caused this country much pain. I hope that perhaps we can save it now.
Azara will nod and then get back into place and kind of get in game mode.
Nice. Perfect. Alyssa will look at you, Agnis, and say, My Lady Crownsilver, is there any... it is tradition for a commander to speak with their troops to give one last order or speech before the battle. I'm prepared to do so if you would like, but I think it would mean more coming from yourself or from Lord Tarkhal. But if need be, I can take care of it if you wish. But in this phase, just before we begin the march out, before the troops, before Davian's forces arrive, it may be good to say something to everyone assembled.
A flash of like terror goes across Agnes's face, but she kind of clears her throat. Yes, you're right. We should say something. And she kind of Is Tarkhal nearby right now?
Yeah, like imagine this is kind of like you know, you guys have seen Lord of the Rings, you know, when Theoden is kind of riding up and down, like, you know, you can kind of meet up with him and then you're going to go to your respective units. But yeah, you can absolutely kind of ride and gather up, and you know, anybody, you can get like Azara and Clyve as well if you wish, but you can definitely ride up and sort of get Tarkhal's attention. Aaron will come with you, and you can see that alongside the banner, he does also have like a horn. He has like a calling horn as well as part of banner bearer. He would carry that. So like he's like, when you're ready, my lady, when you're ready to speak, let me know, and I'll get everyone's attention.
Before I do that, I'm like, Tarkhal, is there anything you want to say in particular?
You want to go first?
Okay.
All right. So like you kind of like nod at Aaron, and he will kind of like this blaring horn sounds, and then on the Tressim, you can sort of parade in front of your gathered forces.
Citizens of Eveningstar, friends, family, we never wanted this day to come. We wanted to stay in our forest, pet our Tressim, throw our stoling balls, and live peacefully with those in our realm and those beyond. We would never wish to be here, but if we must, we know that we can prevail because we are strong, we are smart, and we are powerful. And that is why the entire nation now looks to Eveningstar as those who can free the world of this evil. And we will not let them down, will we? And then I kind of look at Tarkhal and...
Every single soldier here today has more courage than Davian. His underhanded tactic and attempt to sneak in the night and destroy us will not go unnoticed. Every moment of this battle, remember, you are more a person than that slime is. So with every swing and every spell that is cast, remember, we are fighting for the greater good of this land. For Cormyr!
Yeah, it's big, huge cheer echoes. Oh, go on.
I was just gonna say, canonically, can I have had it that Willowsong cast the thing between her and I?
Just between you two?
Yeah, because I want after that speech just to like look in her direction and stay safe, and that's
okay. Yeah, she will look back,
Vomits!
properly fixes her eyes on you, and just says, "You two, I'll be watching. If you need me, call."
Right.
She just nods. Again, kind of somewhat impassive, like very hard to read her facial expression, but there is, in the telepathic communication, there is a vulnerability in the voice that is not there in the facial expression.
Yeah, I would say also Tarkhal's contrast between his speech and his mental message should be noted. Like they're very different.
Softer, yeah. Nice. I saw Nate put a hand up.
That nice moment between them is interrupted. Just Tarkhal!
Yes, Clyve.
Come here.
I'll ride over.
Yep.
Yes, Clyve, what is it?
You're a good man, lad. And I wish you nothing but the best in this war. He's gonna like take his hand, like tiny little thing in this huge lion mitt, and he kind of puts something in it. Says, I want you to hold this. And he gives him what was described earlier, this little, well, not little, it's a lion's tooth with a string around it. Says, this is very lucky for those needing to go into battle. I won't be needing it. It's brought me plenty of luck, and I want to bestow it upon you. And when this is over, you're gonna bring this back to me.
I will. Thank you, Clyve. You're a good man as well. And I think, I guess if he slips that in my hand, like I'm looking at it, I would hop off my horse and brothers in arm, handshake.
Yeah.
And pull in for a hug. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Just a
Even though I'm like, yeah, you're like,
yeah. As you are doing that, just as like this really beautiful moment, just as you're about to release, Baragon will wrap his arms around both of you and just be like, yes! Manly appreciation for one another. Yes! Brothers in arms! and just sort of like slap you both on the back and then head off.
And
like,
then we all do the brothers in arms handshake and form a circle and start like spinning around.
Yay! Yeah.
I don't know if Tarkhal does it, but maybe non-canonically.
The two of us do it, and Tarkhal's just kind of like beat off
being
the ground,
dragged around. Like,
That's canon. Yeah.
Nice. All right. In that case, well, thanks for that wonderful speech. I have set your army's morale score. You don't get to know what it is, but it is set.
Oh man, you judged our speeches?
I did.
How dare you judge me?
Wow, it was more that you. It was more that you did a speech. It equals something else. If you had let Alyssa do it, it would have been something else. But because you did it, I wasn't gonna. I'm not gonna judge you for what you said. Like that would be mean.
At least not on paper. Maybe just in your head.
You did some cool role playing. Yeah, exactly. You did some cool role playing. So, you get a thing. With that, we will begin the battle of the plains of Daur. You see, as you guys finish that speech and as you have these moments of shared between each other. Yes.
Before we do that, after the speech happens.
Yes.
Because I don't think I'm ever going to get a chance to use this. Okay. I'm going to cast Skywrite.
Okay.
And I'm going to write for Cormyr in beautiful script.
Nice. And yeah, you begin to hear, as it kind of appears, you begin to hear the kind of, from the armies, the distant armies, your reinforcements, the forces of your allies of Queen Rhaedra's own guard and soldiers, you begin to hear this cry for Cormyr kind of echoing down.
Yeah, to like get everybody hyped. Yeah,
for sure. And as it does, yeah, it kind of ripples through. And as the clouds, as that message begins to dissipate and as that cheer begins to die down, you look across the plains and you can see there are valleys, there is a river, and then in the far distance, the edge of the Kingswood itself. And from the Kingswood, which stretches out, you begin to see Davian's forces fully take the field now as well. They begin to line up, and there is many of them, perhaps more than the forces you have brought yourselves. You are outnumbered. You can see mostly it is where Davian has the numbers. You can see that perhaps you are outnumbered, not quite 2-1, but there is a significant difference in the size of your forces. Davian's forces are made up of lots of levies, kind of peasantry levies. You can see people in simple leather armor, simple wooden shields, spears, pitchforks, farming equipment, that sort of thing, making up a vast amount of the forces, combined with more well-trained, well-equipped mercenaries. Strange creatures as well, similar to the ones that attacked Eveningstar, these kind of draconian creatures that look like dragonborn maybe to the eyes of most common soldiers, men and women, but to you, you know them to be something different, more of a hybrid, not quite dragonborn, but something else. You can see wyvern riders, people riding on the backs of proto-drakes and similar kind of life forms, monstrosities. You can see cavalry on very strange lizard-like steeds with very strange attire that you've not seen, probably from a very far land away from here, all arrayed out before you. Where Cormyr's forces and your forces may be more elite and well-trained and well-equipped, Davian's are more varied and unusual and vastly in number. And slowly, because war is not a fast thing, over the process of a couple of hours, everybody begins to move into position. Like they begin to march forward and take those initial lines well out of the range of spells and arrows and things like that. We begin to maneuver and to get into place. And then everything seems to happen in a rush. Horns blare, cheers, shouts begin to echo, thundering across these plains as that rush of movement begins. That it begins as a slow march for most troops, just that slow progression towards each other. But as you draw closer, your hearts begin to beat faster, the breath in your chest becomes tighter, because as you draw every step, you know one more step will be in range of their archers. One more step will be in the range of their mages. Their cavalry's going to charge any second now. Every step builds in momentum until suddenly there is a roar and a charge and everybody begins to rush forward. And I would like you guys to roll initiative for me, please.
Like our personal initiative?
Yeah, personal initiative for you guys. This is just to determine the order in which you guys are going to act and do some stuff, just so we have a rough order of things.
I think this is my first good initiative roll of this entire show.
Let's start with you then, Azara.
It's a dirty 20.
Nice.
20. All right. Agnis.
9.
Clyve.
9.
Twins.
Tarkhal.
23.
23.
Well, we can't all be Tarkhal, can we?
Agnis and Clyve. What's your initiative bonus, Agnis?
3.
What's your initiative bonus, Clyve?
2.
All right. Agnis is technically, I'm going to bump you up to a 10, so I know who goes first.
Okay.
Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Let's do layer action at the top, which is basically layer action just means like the armies and stuff like that's going ahead.
I was about to say, huh?
Yeah, it's just my way of tracking it. Okay. So this, as everybody begins to rush forward, your main vanguard, the druids, they begin to shapeshift into their bear forms and they're charging forward, but they're still way out of melee range, right? You are in the process of rushing towards. You begin to see that there are small units of skirmishers, light cavalry, much more faster, lightly equipped fighters with dual weapons and light range weapons begin to split off and begin to move towards your own forces and the forces of your allies nearby, kind of splintering off to engage, moving ahead of everybody else. And you also notice that the archers and the mages behind the enemy forces, Davian's own mages and archers, similar to the Thorn cultists that you had fought previously, they are now in range and are about to take aim and begin to fire upon. They are going to fire upon your main units, the druids in the center, whilst the skirmishing units look like they are going to rush to the sides and try and get round your main forces. Agnis, you have a question.
Just for flavor, can I have taught the druids how to become panther bears?
Sure. Yes.
Great.
Absolutely. Perfect.
And they all have they don't have the fiery whole main thing that I had, but maybe they have
the
a little.
wildfire ones would because
Okay,
there is
cool.
a sect of wildfire druids there. Yeah, for sure.
But maybe they all have just a little tuft of fire, a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the wildfire druids would just do whatever you tell them to, whereas the other druids are like, oh, this isn't a form we've learned before, but it has their own unique visuals.
Ooh,
the elves will have
Ooh.
tattoos and stuff. So it kind of takes their own style.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely you introduce it to them. So yeah, so they kind of transform into these panther bears and begin to move forwards. Tarkhal. So again, think of this think of this. Just do what your character would normally do. You can use any of your abilities. You can use stuff, but also feel free to be creative with this. There isn't necessarily these aren't creatures that you can make attack rolls, but you could, if you wanted to just rush in and start fighting, you could do that. But you can also, be like, I'm going to direct my cavalry to do this. I want them to do that. This is an opportunity to be creative. Use your skills, use your abilities, use whatever you want. The situation you currently face is your main sort of vanguard forces aren't in range of each other yet. There are these skirmish units that are breaking around, trying to get around, maybe trying to outflank and get round to the side so they can engage your archers or your cavalry. And then the enemy archers and mages are going to target your druid unit. What would you like to do? And by you, I also mean any unit you are attached to.
I think I want to try to intercept that attack that's going towards our main unit.
There's two of them, so you kind of got there's another light cavalry unit which is kind of streaking off to the side and is trying to take a wide arc around, hoping to sort of get onto the flanks of the druids or maybe go for your archers and mages behind you. Sorry, your mage unit behind you. Then there is also another unit of slightly slower moving, but they've all got dual weapons. They've got short bows, kind of almost like woodland rangers, right? Kind of maybe similar to the kind of forces that your father and you probably would have once made up in the Kingswood, and they're kind of moving around the side as well. So you've got these two flanking units.
Okay. I think I would go for the faster one then.
So
one
the other light
already
cavalry.
breaking off. Yeah, the light cavalry, and I think I would just direct our unit to kind of just engage. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't
So
think
just
there's
like
anything...
you want to lead them into a direct attack to yourself rather than sort of like.
I believe so. Our cavalry is equipped with what weapons right now?
Like spears, shield spears, that kind of thing. Like they would be pretty light. They've got like hand weapons as well, like swords and short swords and stuff like that as well. But mainly like spears for like on the charge, ramming their spears and stuff into them. Shields to protect themselves from archer fire and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, then I think I would go for a direct engage. With them.
Cool. Right, in that case, what I'd like you to do then is make an attack roll, like as if you were attacking, and you're going to be leading this attack. And let me know what you get on the attack roll.
Would I rolled an 18, but do I add like the hit DC of epilogue? What do I add to it?
Yeah, add your epilogue hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it's 29 total.
29 total. Okay. All right. So let me make some quick notes here. Okay, so leading your forces, you kind of like point epilogue and, bellow out a like charge, engage, and they thunder behind you and the cavalry thunders across the battlefield. And yeah, you intercept and it becomes this kind of mobile skirmished melee, right? Like both of you want to stay mobile. Neither of you wants to like get stuck standing still. So it's like you smash into each other, they pull away, they divert around and try and take you on the flank. You pull your unit to the side and it almost becomes a dance of this horse cavalry moving around each other. And eventually you strike down several of them. Some of your forces manage to kind of like pin down, maybe take some of their horses. A couple of your own light cavalry get taken out, but they pull away, no longer trying to seek that advantage, pulling away to regroup and regather, and allowing you to pull away as well. Nice. All right, Azara.
Have any arrows or spells been fired yet?
This is all kind of happening at once. You can see that, that there are arrows and spells that are landing on the druid unit that you can see. Nothing towards you. You and the enemy archers and mages are out of range of each other, so they're targeting what they can get a hold of right now.
In response to that, Azara will take a section of the mages that have the can cast fly or have some sort of upwards mobility and direct them to, with her, cast gust of wind to try and shield the
your druids.
bears.
You want to try and protect them from the cool. In that case, because you're going to be casting gust of wind, but you're also kind of encouraging everybody else to do this. I would say if you can do this is interesting because it's kind of like you're using the wind to try and defend them and stuff. Just make a D20 plus either your wisdom or charisma modifier. So no specific skill, just wisdom or charisma modifier.
That is a 21.
21. Okay. So you kind of summon up, and several of the other mages are like, yes, Magister, I can fly, and they cast fly on themselves, or a few of them sort of have their own natural ability to fly. Like one, there's a wizard who's got a magic carpet, one who's got flying boots and things like that. They all do a bunch of different things, and you take a small unit of them and then tell the others, do what you can to protect our druid, or to protect the druid's unit. And you see a couple of them are and they begin using things like Wall of Force to try and create a barrier above them, but basically use their spells in a defensive manner to protect that druidic unit. And then you fly forward, and using gusts of wind and the shield spells created and everything else, you do manage to protect that central unit from the enemy mages and archers, deflecting the arrows away, trying to diminish what spells you can. Some of the mages in your group are casting counterspell where they can, and all these kind of things like that, right? Trying to dispel that magic, preventing any significant losses to the druidic unit as they charge forward. Perfect.
And then it would be like a hit and run. It would be
that's what I'm assuming. You kind of fly in, you
retreat,
and then you fly back. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I think that works. Nice. All right, Agnis.
I want to. Am I within 150 feet of the mage unit of the opposing army?
I would say you would have to, you can be. So again, because it's kind of abstracted, right? You can move close enough, but you would basically be okay, Tressum Knights, come with me. We're going to go towards that mage unit and I want to engage the mage unit, right? That would be what you were trying to do if that was the case. That would basically potentially expose your Tressum Knights to that mage unit. But that you would have to do that to engage them if that's what you wanted to do.
Well, here's what I want to do. I'm not sure how it works with the army mechanics, but I have Firestorm, So I want to basically like sneak behind the flank and do what Azara's doing, except for offense instead of defense. And I want to cast a firestorm over the mage unit. And I don't really need the unit with me in order to do that. So this could be a like, I'm being sneaky by myself.
This is the thing of like that would basically be you saying, I'm going to leave the Tressum unit and I'm going to go do this thing on my own. And that might leave the Tressum unit like exposed or leaderless. Like they'll have to decide what they're going to do on their own. Or you can take them with you, because they could be like, no, we can go and attack the mages as well. Like you cast the firestorm, and then when that's finished, the Tressum units are like diving in and like attacking them, basically.
Cleaning it up.
Well, trying to, yeah. Like, I mean, you're probably not going to wipe out a whole unit in like one go, but you'll definitely do significant damage to them.
Each creature in the area, if they fail Dex, takes 7d10 fire damage, and everything flammable sets on fire except plants, if I want, which I want.
Okay, nice, yeah.
So yeah, we'll go.
So you basically want to take the fight to the mages, basically. Yeah. What level spell is Firestorm? Because it's quite a high level spell, right?
It is. It's my 1/7 level spell.
Your 7th level
Doing
spell.
It right out front.
Cool. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this then is the Tressum Knights are going to automatically attack you. You're doing that. Your spell, it's a Dex saving throw, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
17.
I will roll a Dex saving throw for the whole unit, basically.
But they wouldn't all pass or all fail, right?
No, but I'm not going to do it that way. It's basically, I'm going to see how effective the spell is by making a saving throw for them. And the result I get, like the higher I roll on a d20, the more of them technically save against it and dive for cover and manage to avoid it. The lower I roll on a d20, the more of them take damage and the more effective the spell is, basically.
I'm also trying to set that area on fire so that it does like residual damage.
Yeah, so you're creating they're going to have to abandon that position basically and move away from it. I got a 15 on the d20, so there is damage done, like you incinerate several of these mages and you burn all the ground, but you can see that mixed in with the archers there are also mages of their own, and they create like globes of force and shielding to kind of protect them and protect some of the other archers. Several of them use cold spells to kind of disperse some of the flame, but you do a significant amount of damage and especially to the morale, this huge storm of fire, and then immediately the Tressum Knights begin diving in, sort of trying to impale and attack them, and again they're all in disarray as they're being attacked, no longer able to focus. But it just, what that means is that you are now in that engagement range of those mages and archers. So
I can't retreat.
Of course you can, but you have to fly in to attack them. They're going to have the opportunity to do something back to you, if you see what I mean, right? Because that's if you're going to engage them. Same way with like when Tarkhal's now moved up to engage their cavalry, he's now exposed to them doing something back to him.
That's okay. We'll stay. Also, the flavor text of this spell says a storm made up of sheets of roaring flame appears in a location. So I just wanted to give that visual that it's like.
It's almost like Aurora Borealis, but made of fire.
Yeah.
And, like,
That's terrifying.
Stuff.
Yeah. It's super scary and
time
awesome.
of year.
This time of year in this part of the country. But yeah, the fire like ripples through the area and causes untold devastation, but they do manage to kind of protect some of themselves, and they're not quite finished just yet. Last in sort of our main our main characters here, Clyve.
Oh boy, I want to start swinging at something.
Okay.
Who's close?
So if you wanted to, the main sort of like bulk of their infantry and stuff, like their main sort of rank and file soldiers, are still a little bit out of range for you to engage with. Tarkhal has engaged a unit of light cavalry that's kind of moving to the side. You do notice that on the other flank, trying to get round to your mages, are these kind of lightly armored, dual weapon, roguish kind of ranger-looking type characters, and they're making their way round to try and get to Azara's mage unit behind you. The other way is you could try and just like double time charge into the main infantry ahead, but you would be sort of like rushing forward into like the worst, like the optimal range, like they would be able to charge into you and strike back.
I don't want to go too solo on this, so I guess keep on charging.
Okay, so you want to just like move forward with the druidic unit. You don't want to. You're happy to just sort of like move forward to the main battle.
Well,
or there's the skirmish unit kind of coming around the side as well. Or like you could be like, I'm gonna go help out Tarkhal. Like Tarkhal's forces are trying to engage one of the cavalry units. You could be like, nah, let's go like help out Tarkhal's unit.
I think I would just go for whatever is nearest to me, but without like completely separating from the pride.
So by pride, you mean like the whole force, or just you, Erez, and Baragon?
Oh, just the three of us.
The three of you can go. Like the three of you can go wherever you want them to go.
Oh.
They'll go with you no matter what. They'll go wherever you want them to go. Because you're not part of that's you guys are all together. You're not part of another one of the main units, so you can go. You can pick any direction you want to go in. And I'd say in terms of like range, again, like you can any of these targets is viable. Like you can just be like, we're gonna go towards that one and deal with that one.
Okay. If you said Tarkhal needs help, or it looks like something's going on with there, I mean,
he's doing well. Like you could go and help him, but he is accomplishing things on his own. But you would only be helping them like overwhelm the forces on that side, right? Like,
yeah, I still think let's do that. Double down on the target.
All right, nice. So kind of as Tarkhal's cavalry unit smashes into this other fast-moving light cavalry, Erez, you, Baragon, and Erez charge in kind of like on all fours, like galloping towards, and then leap into this light cavalry as they're trying to pull away from Tarkhal's unit. Like Tarkhal drives them off, and then you slam into them like a cannonball and just disperse their forces. Give me a kind of similar to Tarkhal, if you just make an attack roll, just straight up with your normal attack.
Okay, that's gonna be a dirty 30.
30, that is more than enough. Okay. Yeah, so you again have this incredible effect. Like as they already are kind of beaten back by Tarkhal's forces, they do not expect three individual fast-moving lion people to just charge into them, and like you tear through, like ripping some of their mounts under the ground. You take out like 2 or 3 of them at once. And the rest of them are completely spooked as they pull away from it. And you and Tarkhal's unit are now sort of on one side of the flank, completely covering it. Like you have locked that flank down and have it completely covered. The rest of your forces move forward and are moving towards the enemy unit to engage as we go into round 2 of this ongoing conflict. So some things have changed now. Azara, as you are pulling back from your mission to kind of defend that main unit, they're still making their way towards this main sort of clash, this middle clash that's going to form the main battle line. That still hasn't reached each other yet, but you see, unopposed, a unit of skirmishers, rangers, rogues they are about to engage your unit. They have made their way, and although you've got several very powerful, talented mages, you are outnumbered. Like these rangers and things, they look pretty skilled. They are about to engage you. If you do not oppose them, and if you are not successful in opposing them, they will basically they're going to cause casualties to your troops anyway. But this will determine how bad that attack is on you, basically. To the other side, the light cavalry is retreating and pulled away, and they are going to move round to basically kind of reinforce their troop. They're going to basically try and lure. It looks like they're going to kind of take little jabs at Tarkhal, your unit, and Clyve. They're going to kind of like throw javelins. They're going to try and pull you away. They're going to basically threaten you that if you go back to try and help out Azara, they're gonna charge you in the rear, basically. So you're now caught between. It's like, do we go and help Azara? Do we continue pushing this light cavalry unit that we've been engaging? Which way are we go? Because if you go and help Azara, they're going to be able to strike you back. If you go for them, you're leaving Azara exposed. So you're gonna need to make a choice on that. Anna, for you and the Tressym Knights, having faced your terrible magic and the Tressym Knights charge, the enemy mages and archers turn their complete attention against you. They are going to try and drive you off as best as they can, using magic, using archery, targeting the Tressym themselves to try and bring your mounts down. They are going to try and basically drive you away or try and cause you casualties, like in the same in revenge of what you did against them. And Nate is no signal, so I'm just going to let him catch up when he gets back to it.
What the fuck?
Oh, you're back. I thought that was something you had done, like, I've got to go take a pee, so I'm just gonna do this.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, while you get that sorted, luckily you're last, so we can deal with everyone else first. And we start with Tarkhal. So yeah, you are caught between this tricky place. So that light cavalry unit that you drove off, this, you caused injuries, you caused casualties. There's still enough of them left. They kind of pull away, they turn around, they kind of pull back to their lines, regroup, re-rally, and now they're kind of just following you behind, staying out of range, that if you charge them, they'll probably look like they're going to flee, but also being like, if you go anywhere else, we're going to come and attack you in the rear. What would you like to do?
And how does the unit look that's approaching Azara's unit? What are they made up of?
That is like kind of similar to your father and the woodsman. They're kind of like rangers and rogues, like lightly armored, dual weapons, that kind of stuff. They're not like compact. There's not a huge amounts of them, but because they're quite mobile and lightly armored, they're very easily able to kind of get around the main force and engage that mage unit.
Okay.
Doesn't look like they won't stick around for too long if they're engaged. Like if you can get in and cause casualties to them, it doesn't look like they'll last long, but they're gonna hit Azara's unit pretty hard if they reach them, or when they reach them.
Yes. I think then, considering the unit that is threatening an opportunity attack is already somewhat weakened, I think I would want to turn and try to stop the unit that's approaching Azara if I have that opportunity.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. This is going to require you to kind of spur your guys, because you've kind of raced ahead. You're going to have to spur your guys on to ride with the wind and kind of push them to do this. So I'd like you to make an athletics check for me.
Okay.
Kind of this is you riding hard, come on, get them there in time.
11 total.
Okay. So what that means is, as you kind of turn them, you're like, come on, yeah, and you kind of drive your guys to try and reinforce Azara's. They do so, you don't fail at that, they do kind of spur into moment, and you are going to reach there and help Azara in her attempts to try and fend these guys off. However, in doing so, you hear that the weakened unit, the weakened cavalry unit that you'd engaged previously, they kind of blow their horns and they race forward and just begin pelting with javelins, kind of catching several of your riders in the back, and you're going to lose you're going to suffer casualties to your unit as you do so. All right, Azara.
Yes. Azara, seeing this unit coming towards us, and
imagine maybe some of them have already reached you, and you see further down the line a young mage, one of them throws a knife, catches one of your mages, and then they rush in. There's more still coming towards you, and you can see Tarkhal's unit also peeling away, coming to support you.
Right.
So you're going to have them to help you as well.
Azara will definitely I'm assuming she's kind of leading this unit and telling everybody what to do. So she'll just instruct everybody to have an all-out attack, defend yourselves at all costs.
Okay.
It sounds like they're actively approaching.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are any that are kind of not being approached just yet,
mm-hmm.
I would have them focus on the damaged cavalry unit with range spells. So essentially it's if you're in melee, focus on melee. If you're in range, focus on range.
The ones chasing after Tarkhal's unit.
Yeah. Try and defend on both fronts. It's prioritize what's closest to you.
Sure. Absolutely. For that, what I would like you to do, kind of issuing this all-out attack order, look, just fire at will, go crazy. Can you make an intimidate check for me, please? This would kind of represent rather than a specific spell or a specific skill, this is you trying to encourage your mages, look, tear these guys apart, take them down now.
That's an 18.
18. Okay. As you do this, you kind of try and divert your forces. You're you take these guys down, you take care of these. Try and focus on the ones focusing on Azara, and the mages that you're with. Many of the veteran adventurers, they are yep, got this. We know how to target priority. They begin focusing on the ones closest and everything else. Some of the other mages who are maybe fresh out of mage school or college students and things like that, they're just completely overwhelmed. They feel like they're being charged by two different forces. They panic, and quite a few of them get wounded. And in a desperate attempt to try and prevent them and try and protect them, you see Meridonis kind of step out, and he is leave these to me. And he charges in, and you watch as he casts Tensor's transformation on himself, and he engages several of these rogues single-handedly. And there's a moment where, like, you watch as, you know, these fireballs are blasting. Meridonis, like, calls many of these rangers to his side, kind of buying time before Tarkhal can get there, as otherwise these guys would have rushed into your units and torn these college students apart. But as he does, Meridonis is slowly taken down, and you watch, and you kind of are turning, you're blasting with lightning and spells to try and protect him, but like one blade in the side, two blades in the side, and eventually he is cut down, and you watch as he kind of like, and he, like, one last fireball manages to get it out before an arrow kind of through his neck, and he falls down.
Can I spare the dying?
You're like trying to rush towards him, and you know, because he hasn't taken all of these guys down, you're like trying to fight towards him, and you're like, one guy kind of like smacks you around the face, and like you take a bunch, you know, like you're kind of like trying to fend him, you're rushing towards him.
I have warding wind, which protects around me.
Okay.
So if I warding wind myself
kind of
to get, I want to warding wind myself, and then go in and get him.
In that case, how about I would like you to make, and Spare the Dying is a cleric cantrip for you, right?
Yes,
you got that from cleric. Can you roll a d20 plus your wisdom modifier for me, please?
D20.
We'll leave this down to the fate of the dice.
10.
You try your best, Azara. Like, you fight as hard as you can to reach there. And Tarkhal, you know, you kind of see Meridonis, you see him like race in, like ripping these guys apart. But he's overwhelmed, and you're like, come on, come on. And then that's when you get like a javelin in the back of your shoulder, like nearly dismounts you from your horse as these guys chasing behind you are like taking you down. Yeah, you try and race there, but you manage to fend them off, and these rangers are obliterated. Like, with Tarkhal's help, Azara, you and the mage unit managed to wipe these guys out, but not before you lose several of your college students and Meridonis himself. And you are unable to reach him and spare the dying. Before that, he is taken down.
Fuck.
This is, you know, it was high DCs. This is a pretty intense war. I'm afraid that 18 was not enough to protect everybody. This is war. Agnis, you are being attacked by...
What DMs hurt you? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
You can add me to that list now, Shady.
That unit of mages is on the ground.
It's like mages and archers.
Mages and archers. Mm-hmm. And they're on the ground, and they're firing toward me.
Yeah, they're like firing up in the air. They're casting spells. They're basically attacking you and your unit.
And is there any other unit between me and them, or have I've kind of come around the side?
You've flown over the battle. Like, you've flown over the main battle, and you've pounced down onto the mages and archers who are behind their own forces.
They're behind their own forces.
Yeah, you are far from Agnis and Azara and Clyve now. You are fair distance away from them.
Well, point is, I want to cast Wall of Fire, but I'm trying to find the most advantageous place to do it, because if what's
the intention? What do you want the Wall of Fire to do?
Primary intention, protect us from them and harm them on the other side.
Okay.
Secondary intention, potentially cut them off from a supporting other part of their army. Because I know that other mages were protecting them from the other side and stuff. So like
yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's perfect. So with that, I would like you to roll. This would be a d20 plus your wisdom, because this is just straight up druid. This is mainly relying on the Wall of Fire spell rather than the unit also attacking. This is kind of relying on this spell to do this.
Plus my what modifier?
Wisdom.
Wisdom
modifier. So d20 plus wisdom.
Which is +4, so 15.
15. Okay.
And the way Wall of Fire works is it burns everyone 10 feet out from it. Yeah. And then people can't cross it.
Yeah, you conjure this Wall of Fire in, and I think it's like 10-foot squares, right? So it's like a 100-foot line.
That's the storm. Storm is 10-foot squares. Wall is 60 feet long, 20 feet high, 1 foot thick.
Okay.
Or a ringed wall. I didn't realize I could make a ring.
Yeah, well, to be honest, the ring wouldn't help, because I think it's only like a certain radius as well. And this is like a big unit, right? Like, even the 60-foot wall, you're not going to block off the entire unit with that. So really what you're using the Wall of Fire is to give you as much defense as you can whilst you pull your unit back, and try and pull them away out of range, or like get some distance to make it harder to hit you and things like that.
Okay.
You managed to, I would say, you successfully buy yourself enough time that you lose a couple of Tressym Knights. Like, they do get taken down by like spells. The Tressym themselves are like, the lightning bolt takes out a Tressym and the knight falls to the ground. You lose a couple of like casualties, not a significant loss. But it doesn't take the enemy mages long, like Dispel Magic, Cold Spells, they put that wall out. It's not going to prevent them from attacking in the future, but you do manage to buy yourself enough time to get away without too many losses. So, like, you conjure this wall of fire, like, reaches up. And you can see, like, as you're being attacked, like, Aaron is freaking out. Like, he's, like, panicking. Like, this is his first real battle. Like, he's, like, clutching to the Tress and not really sure what to do. Alyssa's commanding the attack, trying to order this retreat and, like, defend the others, to protect those who are injured. And, like, everyone's raising their shields and stuff. And then you this wall of fire up, buying everybody enough time to pull back. And as you pull back, that's when you kind of start flying back over the main battle, and you look down to see Azara's unit being engaged by these smaller units, and you see this black dragonborn wizard in the middle, like, fighting everybody off, and then just overwhelmed, taken out. All right, Clyve of the Wildmane.
I am here.
You are here. No face, but you are here.
Yep, camera broke. Backup camera broke.
We just need to, like, put up, like, a smiley face of Clyve. Like,
I've been trying to change my picture, but I don't know how. I can't. It's Zoom.
Fine. We got you here. That's the main thing.
Okay, I want to hit something.
Okay, so you've got a couple of options. The main clash is just about to, like, really hit together. But for now, Tarkhal has rushed off to try and aid Azara, but is being pursued by the other light cavalry that you had engaged last time. They are kind of like hounding his retreat to try and aid Azara. Azara's unit is being attacked, but that's mostly dealt with now. Like, they've mainly been taken care of. And then Agnis is buying time for the mages, which you can't reach to yet. So you kind of got two options. You can either engage the cavalry, I'd say three options. You can engage the cavalry unit that's pursuing Tarkhal and try and prevent them from, you taking the fight to him and the mages next time. You can join the main druids and for the next battle be ready to jump into the main infantry lines, or you can go and help Tarkhal and Azara mop up the last of these skirmishers.
Oh, let's mop.
All right, mop up. And do you have a particular way that you want to do this, or is this just charging into normal battle basically, or do you have like a cool thing you want to do?
I have this really cool idea, actually. I've been thinking about this between turns. So I would like to rage.
Nice. All right. So yeah, use one of your rages. I'm gonna give you so if you can make an attack roll for me, but do it with advantage. So roll twice, take the highest.
Okay.
Just a straight up attack roll.
That is 24.
24. Okay. As you kind of help in, you kind of charge alongside Tarkhal, kind of racing back. You manage to basically help completely eliminate this enemy skirmish unit that was attacking Azara. Like, they're beginning to flee. They're trying to get back to their lines to maybe be, come back and fight later on. You, Ares and Baragon, chase down those fleeing, rip them apart, kind of tear into them as you do so, as your rage kind of blossoms out. If you want to roll your random surge effect as well, just to give us a little bit of flavor on how you do it.
Yes, I do. Well. Nice. D8. The 6, which is until your rage ends, you're surrounded by multicolored protective lights. You get a +1 bonus to AC, and while within 10 feet of you, your allies gain the same bonus.
Nice. Okay, so for now, like, you, Ares, and Baragon basically have a higher defense. So if anybody tries to attack you directly, they're going to have a harder time of it.
In addition, using the Lion's Pride Champion belt, the range of the effects that Mark Hulmes gave me, himself, 15 extra feet.
Nice. There you go. Bam. So 20 within 25 feet. Great. Okie dokie. So as we go into the phase 3, this is where the main forces finally clash. Your Panther Bear druids smash into the much larger infantry force, but it's mainly made up of, mercenaries and peasants and levies and these kind of light infantry forces, and they finally clash in the middle of the plains and the fields themselves. As they do so...
sorry. Really quick side note. I'm going to send an image to our live producer to replace an image of me. Can we
Nice.
just?
I already put up a headshot of you. I just figured it out.
Oh,
There
can
we
you
go.
change it to this
Okay.
though?
Yes, I
Oh,
can.
no.
Oh,
Nice.
jeez. Okay. Yeah.
Jeez.
We'll work
All right.
on that.
While you do that, so the main armies clash in the center, and enemy forces are going to try and break through your druids to try and get to the now weakened cavalry and mage unit that they know is behind them. They want to break through those druids as fast and as quickly as possible, and the druids are going to try and hold the line. The mages in the background are going to try and turn their attention to the now probably towards Clyve areas in Baragon, actually. Like seeing these commanders who are separated from everybody else, they're going to turn their attention on you. The light cavalry that were pursuing Tarkhal are going to pull away, and you see them begin to make their way beyond your lines, probably towards your war camp. They are gonna make their way towards the war camp where some of your allies are waiting, and some of the injured and the try and cause disruption as best they can there, thinking that like we've already hit them pretty hard. They've already taken significant losses. We're going to try and pull away as we do that. Tarkhal. That is the scenario.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was like, are you just gonna leave the call?
He's
Like,
fine.
no,
Done. Quitting.
This close, Mark. I would, at seeing that unit cut off, I would like to channel my blade epilogue, and I would like to try to cast disintegrate on that unit, if that is something that can be done.
Yeah, you can't really disintegrate a whole unit.
Yeah,
but the idea
can
would
if he
be
wants
that
to.
you would like try and find like the leader of that unit, try and disintegrate them, and then you would charge in, right? I'm assuming that it would be like disintegrate and then attack them in general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I can will it upon the sword to, instead of using the spell disintegrate, just end that unit. End that unit, just like a.
Oh, well, that's a different thing. If you want to try and do that, that's a different thing.
Okay, I would like to try and do that, but in hopes of making it a little easier for myself, I would like to end the horse. This is awful. I know. I would like to just end the ability for the horses to walk.
Okay.
So I'm not trying to I don't need enough energy to take lives from all the units. I just need to go ahead and take the ability to walk.
He wants to make all of them lame.
I do, because Mark is doing some real lame stuff today, okay?
That's fair.
Those
You know what? There you go.
Lame stuff.
I know you can't see me, but I too am making an upset face. Just
Thank you.
Upset face. Well, we're gonna see how this goes.
What if you end the ability of them to be ridden? What if you untame them?
No, we have to make it bad. We have to make it bad enough.
I think it has to, because listen, the Mark is trying to cause pain. So this is I understand this is not a good decision.
Look, Mark, I'm being caused. If it helps Shady, I'm being caused pain by knowing that fictional horses are being hurt.
Yes.
So
I'm choosing purposely a not rosy option, because I'm hoping it makes the DC less.
We'll see. What I need you to do is, because this is your force of will against Epilogue's nature. This is a D20 plus your charisma modifier.
Okay, listen, I've never asked for much. Okay, just the one time.
One time.
For the one time, please. Just not another 8. Oh, it's a 19. It's not a crit. It's a 19, and you said charisma modifier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's 4. So 23.
23.
And horsies no walk.
You watch as the remnants, it's about half strength, this cavalry unit, right? Like after your initial attack and Clyve's attack, it was about half strength. They begin to pull away, and you see them racing towards, and you focus Epilogue. You almost point Epilogue in their direction, willing this blade end these horses' ability to travel, to walk, to journey, to run. And you watch as, I think this is the only way it would really work. You watch as it's almost like a ripple. The horses at the front, their legs just buckle under them as if they go paralyzed, and they collapse to the ground, and then they cause the horses behind them to trip, and you watch as they go to the ground, and it becomes like this rippling effect as every single horse just completely drops down to the ground, like completely paralyzed or injured or crippled or lamed, whatever it is, they just go down. And you hear the cries of anguish and pain as like riders are crushed under the bodies of their riders as they fall to the ground. Some of them go spilling out of their blades. Probably can still run, but now super, slowed down, separated, no longer really able to think. And the rest of your cavalry unit rushes in, and they just skewer, lance these surviving riders, just take them down as the horses are no longer able to carry them, taking them there.
I'm sorry, horses, but I'm sorry, but also.
Look, but can't confirm if a horse steps on you, you fucking your chest is ruptured.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done.
Just so we know, I'm not the worst bad guy of the whole thing.
Shady is officially the worst.
So listen, I had to be both creative and
I get it. I get it. I'm not happy about it, but I get it.
Azara.
Yes. I would like
so your remaining mages, you will have sung the remaining mages. You are no longer under threat. The skirmishes have been wiped out. The cavalry's been taken apart. But you can see the enemy infantry is trying to break through your druids to try and push into you.
Yeah, Azara, after failing to save Melodonus, she kind of like wipes like these angry tears as she like gets up. She was like kneeling on the ground and gets up and like almost like she's not actually using her staff to become that draconic form, but it's like this draconic surge of anger like rises up in her, and she is going to summon her draconic spirit. But in the like, technically you have to pick like a
don't worry about the
element, right?
Don't
yeah,
worry
technically,
about the
but it is like a facade of like a very angry, strong Melodonus, and so to try and bolster the mages to aid the druids in the front, she's like, this must be our last casualty, like fight and survive. And she's like screaming like, and it's almost like half draconic, half common. Like
so this is kind of
Azara's
calling on
balls
draconic
out.
power. Yeah, this is like calling on a draconic power. So I think for me, make an Arcana check for this one.
Oh, I like that one.
Because this is like using your okay. It's like we can't lose more cameras.
More camera problems, no.
Want to guess what that was?
Yeah, we don't need to guess what that natural 20 was. You watch as normally your draconic spirit is like the size of a large but still medium-sized creature, right? Channeling this rage, and you watch as your the lightning crackles up and down you as you call on this draconic ancestry. Any thoughts of Adriphania kind of gone? Like, this is, she has not helped. Like right now, you need power of the dragon right now. And you watch as this surges through you, and this much larger, almost like, large-sized Melodonus draconic spirit kind of emerges, erupting in this black lightning, and just charges in, like, in amongst the druids, like smashing, ripping, sending forces and soldiers flying as they do. And seeing this before you, the mages around you, especially the college students who had been saved, and they charge in, just like burning hands as they charge almost into melee themselves, just like supporting the sides, like flaming hands and lightning bolts as they can surge around. Some of them use spells to like create pillars of earth to like throw people up into the air. Loads of cool magic just to kind of engage in melee. They have put themselves at risk, but if they can take that unit out now, or like you can hold the line, they'll be safe.
They get a buff for pep rally,
right?
Yeah. Agnis, let's try and wrap this up.
I am going to I look down at Melodonus, and like it's clear that Agnis is torn because she's like, I want to just drop everything and go revivify Melodonus. But that would make loads of other people die, and Agnis knows her responsibility. So instead, she's going to cast Wrath of Nature on the front line of the army, which makes all the trees, all the grass, all the vines all come alive and fight for our side against that front line.
Cool. Amazing. I love that.
That's really cool.
Which is why you always spare the plants.
Yeah, I love it. With that then, your nature isn't very good, is it? Because I remember that we've had this discussion before, like your knowledge nature.
No, it's not
good. But your survival is good?
Yes.
Yeah, make a survival check for me then, please.
Okay.
So I don't want to just make you use like a rubbish skill.
28.
28. So your knowledge of the plants, like, because you summon the plants, the magic causes the plants to come to life, but it's your knowledge of what can do the most damage. Like, that's briarwood, that's a patch of like red ivy moss, that's the stuff I want to empower, and it comes to life. And yeah, like, as the druids themselves, also knowing what these plants can do, fighting almost in unison, like as a large kind of like briarwood like vine kind of snatches one of these guys up, one of the druids like turns into a panther and then leaps onto them as they're trapped and like digs into them. Another one sees that a bunch of the troopers are caught in this massive brambles, and so they become a giant bear and like charge through them, kind of fighting in tandem with them as you do so, causing heavy losses amongst that force. Excellent stuff. And then as you're casting that spell, the Tressym Knights around you dive in under Alyssa's command, kind of adding weight to that success, kind of helping the druids to take down into that main line, throwing themselves into the melee as they do so. And then finally, we have Clyve of the Wildmane.
Yes.
What would you like to do?
Well,
you are raging. There is the main melee now as well. Like, the main fight is underway.
I've been going over my options.
Yes.
I am going to fight.
Nice. For this one, like, kind of charging in, give me just another straight up attack roll as you and Erez and Baragorn charge in.
Can I be reckless?
You absolutely can. Give me it with advantage.
All right, that is the first one's a 28. Let's see if we crit. We don't.
Nope. Okay. As you charge in with Erez and Baragorn kind of working alongside your allies, like as the Tressym Knights, like maybe Alyssa like dives down, kind of skewers one of these several of these elite mercenaries, and then reaches down with her hand to like kind of give you a boost to swing you into like a deeper line, kind of throwing you into the action. Erez and Baragorn like leaping across, like jumping across these vines that have been created by Agnes's magic, using those to like leap into it. Very God of War kind of, everyone kind of teamwork fighting together to get into the melee.
Nice.
As you begin tearing them apart. Because we're out of time, what happens is you guys, this main clash, this main unit, your mages, your druid fighters, you yourselves, the Tressym Knights, you engage and you push the enemy back. The mages cause a few casualties here and there, but not enough to really threaten you as you push this force back. And you begin to see Davian's troops, not just in your part of the battle, but all along the Cormyrian battle line, begin to retreat and pull away. A figure moves out from the tree line, from the sort of rear guard, kind of overseeing, commanding the battlefield. And you see Davian themselves riding out, cavalry with their own personal retinue of knights kind of moving forward. And his voice projects over the entire field. I am not done yet, traitor queen. I will have the crown. I have allies on my side that you cannot comprehend. And you see them charging out to meet Raedra in battle. And then a great shadow falls across the land, stretching out from the Kingswood, as if the shadows themselves stretch out like giant claws to engulf the land. And you begin to hear the beating of wings. 1, 2, 4, 10, 20. Dragons begin to rise from the Kingswood, and an enormous ancient green dragon eventually pulls herself up, almost seemingly to reinforce Davian's forces. Now you see who is my true ally. Now you see the power that will make me king of Cormyr. And Davian looks up, and you hear for the first time the voice of Shadowbriar. Foolish little man. I am not here to help you become a king. I merely wanted you to weaken my enemies for me. Watch this roiling cloud completely engulf Davian and several of Raedra's infantry forces as this thick, cloying, poisonous gas completely drains the life out of all of them. You see Davian choking. Why? And the dragons fly and begin to engage. Queen Raedra sends word to you. Retreat now. Go back to Eveningstar. Flee. We can't handle this in our state. You can see that all along, your own forces as well, your mages, the cavalry that Tarkhal is under command, even your Tressum Knights, you have sustained casualties. And against this force, you begin to see pulling out of the tree line rows and rows of those draconian soldiers that you had fought in Eveningstar long ago. More of them begin to appear as you see that Shadowbriar has made her move, waiting for both of your armies to wear each other down before she fully engaged and brought her own forces to bear, as Queen Raedra calls a retreat, telling you to retreat to Eveningstar itself. And that is where we end this penultimate episode.
What will we do?
No!
That you'll have to find out at PAX this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
At PAX at the finale!
Live finale.
Now the symbols
Now
work
we
better.
can hear it. Yeah.
Because there's no camera, I could take my mic off the stands. You
Oh.
have to come see it at PAX.
Live at
yeah.
PAX, Mark TPKs all of us in 30 seconds, and that's it.
You're fine.
Oh
You're
yeah,
fine.
we're so fine. We're so
No, this is
fine.
Mark's moment where he just decides, F you TTRPGs, and just dragons
Like, goes
burn
down
you,
in a
you're
flame of
dead.
glory.
End
Yeah.
of story. Bye.
I pull the classic DM horror story of just like, like 100 dragons turn up and now you're all dead. And you guys don't get any death saving throws, so you're all dead now.
Apparently, the panel is actually going to be a 2-minute game, and the rest of it's going to be a Q&A since we will all be dead.
Of us crying.
No, it's just it's 2 hours of me just laughing. It's just like me on stage just going but no, do not fear. You still have plenty of allies, and
Fear. It's dragons.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We've been in dungeons before. We can do
I know
dragons.
I was
Now
gonna
we're
say,
gonna
as long
be
as no
dragons.
dungeons pop up, then we're
Yeah.
good.
Oh, so we're
No
good.
doors, no chairs.
One at a time. One at a time.
A dungeon crawls
Hey.
from the mist.
Oh my god. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's do real quick. Anna Prosser, take it away. Where can people find you? All that kind of good stuff.
You can find me at Anna Prosser and annaprosser.com, and you can find me in person at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia, December 2nd through 5th, and especially the final episode of this show will be live on stage with all of these people in the flesh at 2 p.m. local time, Saturday the 3rd. And if you can't make it to be in person, tune in twitch.tv/PAX. And I will also be there at the Cantrip booth sometimes because we will be selling cantripbrand.com clothing with our event exclusive Mist colorway polyhedral spell circle shirt, which is impossible to get unless you are there in person. So come see
Whoa.
us.
I didn't know about that. I'm excited.
I take Shady. Oh yeah, you don't have one yet. We'll have to
I
get you.
I
don't.
don't
I'm
have
gonna,
one either.
I'm gonna
But
get
I
one at
will
the
have
Skunk-
one. I will have one this Saturday or Friday,
is.
depending on how quick I get there. You guys can find me, ShadyPenguinn, across the internet, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Listen, hey, all of you guys with beards out there, stop trimming it yourself. You know, you'll suddenly lose 5 months worth of growth, as I have this morning.
Looks good.
I was gonna say this sounds
Stop.
personal.
Stop. No,
It looks
listen.
good.
Thanks, Mark. It's okay. It's fine. I went from looking 35 to 25 in a matter of minutes. So go to the barber. I tagged Mica.
Oh my god. I'm Mica Burton. You can find me everywhere at Mica Burton. And similar to Shady, either Friday or Saturday, I too will have a mist-colored colorway Cantrip Circle shirt. And I don't have any recommendations on barbers, but I do want to say you look good, sir. So it's okay. It's okay. And we all love you.
Still a mighty beard.
A mighty beard. It's very mighty. It could crush the souls of many, and apparently
It's
crush
basically
the limbs of horses.
You have Kratos beard.
No, I had
Yeah.
Kratos' beard at
No,
9 a.m. this morning.
No.
Now I have
Oh, it's
Kratos'
fresh.
son after he sneezes or something.
No,
That's it.
it's a fresh wound. I see. I tag Nate.
Really not.
Hello, it's me with no camera, which is great because you can't see what I'm doing.
No,
The only thing
don't-
I have, which I already said, I sang an ending theme. If you beat Sonic Frontiers on hard mode, specifically on hard mode, you can hear me sing the ending theme, and that's my entire personality now. Don't perceive me, Mark.
Don't perceive. Don't look at me. Thank you very much, everybody. You can find me SherlockHulmes pretty much most places on the internet, whether they're falling apart or whether they're brand new. SherlockHulmes, go and find me on whatever platform we all have to move to for our jobs. You can find me there. You can also check out my show, High Rollers D&D. We've been doing that, our current campaign for 4 years, 160 something episodes, and it's going to end real soon. So come and watch us fight gods in space and do loads of cool stuff. It's very epic at the minute. Come and watch that. And I will also be at PAX. I'm very rarely in the US, so if you can make it down last minute, get a last minute ticket, come and say hi. And I will sign books and take pictures and do whatever you want, because I got nothing else going on. I got no other plans at PAX. I got no cool other places to be, just the finale and hanging out with my buds. So come say hi. And then that's going to be it. That's it for me. Take care. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.